Hey everybody, today I want to talk about cancer screening using tests like the Gallery, the Grail test, which is known as liquid biopsy. It screens for cell-free tumor DNA, as well as I want to talk about whole body MRI, the pluses and minuses of both of these, and how you may think about these things. So I want to share my screen with you because I'm going to walk through a couple things to help us understand how we should think about this. So let me jump over to my screen. All right. First, I'm on the gallery.com site. I'm just going to let you know that from the beginning. So you're like, hey, why didn't you go to the actual scientific papers? Part of the reason is they just kind of present things nicely. And I don't know that it tells you that you should for sure have the test done. So I want to walk through these numbers so that we can think through this really quickly. And really, when you think about tests, you think about sensitivity, meaning how sensitive is it for the test? If it's there, will it catch it? Specificity, how specific? If it says it's cancer, is it cancer? And that's kind of the base. But then more important to me really is the positive predictive value of a test and the negative predictive value of a test. We'll go into that. So first off, we can tell that this test is highly specific. So it's not going to mistake cancer for something else. If it says it's cancer, then it's most likely cancer. But that being said, the positive predictive value, meaning could it give you a false positive? And the answer is yes, because the positive predictive value is 43%, meaning if it says it's a positive test, what's the chance that it truly is a positive test? The chance is only 43%. So really the downside of getting this test is it comes back, it says you may have cancer, you need to do further screening. And there is what are we looking at here? 57% chance that it's not actually cancer. Now, the negative predictive value, if it says you do not have cancer, you only have a 2.5% chance that it missed something. So the likelihood that it's not cancer is really great. So to me, there's these kind of two things. I really, really like this test because if it says I don't have cancer, it's 98.5% certain that I don't have cancer. So really what it comes down to is how much can you deal with uncertainty? How comfortable are you chasing something that may be nothing, that could cause you a lot of stress and anxiety and further testing? Now, most of the further testing isn't going to be dangerous. It's going to be a dedicated MRI, a dedicated CT scan. If you're an adult, that CT scan radiation dose is low enough, it probably doesn't matter. But it could be expensive and it could be stressful and emotionally taxing. So those are the things you need to think about. But I personally, for somebody my age, I'm 47 years old, I really like this test because when I think about the things most likely to kill me, which I'm not likely to die right now, that's the good news. But then when you break it down, the things that are most likely to kill me, cancer is one of those things that's really up high. And so if I can afford this test, which it's $1,000, if I can afford it, then the question is, am I okay having to chase something down that may be a nothing? So that's a question you have to ask yourself. Now let's jump over. I want to share my screen for the whole body MRI, and we're going to talk about something very, very similar there. So hold on a second. All right. Now, first off, I just want to say this paper, it is not a one-to-one with the services that are out there for full body MRI, but I think this gives us very interesting information. If you go to the websites for full body MRI, and those are Prenuvo or Ezra or Simon One, if you go to those sites, you'll find that you can get a full body MRI that could cost anywhere from sub $1,000. I think Simon One is the cheapest at a little bit under $1,000, up to $2,500 or something like that. And these companies may tell you you should get a full body MRI once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years, something like that. Now, I think whole body MRI, really the most dangerous test for your mental health and for your emotional health is that first test, because that's most likely when they're going to find something that you have to chase. Because I want to look down here. Now, this paper is about children, and these children have a genetic cancer predisposition. And so for kids, you really don't want to expose them to a bunch of radiation. So you're not going to use PET CT scans. And so you're going to try full body MRIs. This paper was back in 2015. And what they found, I want to look down here at MRI specificity. And so the sensitivity of the whole body MRI, meaning did it find a cancer if you had a cancer, 100% on this. Now, I don't think that you could look at the full body MRIs are out there today. I don't think this is a big enough study. So I think this was, 24 children. So not a big enough study really to power anything, but 100% sensitivity in this. And then specificity was 94%. But this is where we get into some issues. And it's very similar to the Grail test, the Gallery test. Negative predictive value, 100%. So if it says you do not have a tumor, then you have a really high percentage that you don't have a tumor. Positive predictive value, 25%. So if it says you might have a tumor, 75% chance that it's not a tumor, that it's something else. So you have to be prepared. If you get this test done, you have to be prepared that you're going to be chasing down something that 3/4 of the time is nothing. So that could be a nodule in your thyroid or on your adrenal gland or in your liver or something else. Now, again, most likely these are non-invasive next steps. Dedicated CT scan, a dedicated MRI. So if you want to maximize your screening for cancer, then yes, you could think about doing a liquid biopsy, a Gallery test, and a full body MRI every year. Now, the first year will be the most dangerous for catching something that ends up being nothing. After you get that first MRI, the likelihood that you're going to catch something the next time, that they're going to see some anomaly that they didn't see the first time that ends up not being cancer, that is much lower. That first time is the highest. Now, there are no studies to tell me how high that is, but it just makes sense that if I've never done a full body MRI my whole life, the first time I look, it is the most likely time that I'm going to find an issue. So, let me just go ahead and stop sharing and I'll finish up with some thoughts. All right. So should you get a liquid biopsy? Should you get a full body MRI? That's up to you. This is really a decision that you need to make with your doctor. You need to think through what's your mental state. Can you take the stress and anxiety? Many people will say, I'd rather not know. I'm okay finding out that I have stage 3 cancer, because if I have to chase time after time something that ends up being nothing, then that's fine with me. Many people choose not to be screened. I want all the data possible. So personally, I would choose to do a Grail test and a full body MRI. I don't want to die of cancer. I'm okay chasing down false positives. You have to decide for yourself whether it's worth it. And you take the time, think about it, because it could be really painful emotionally and psychologically to go through chasing down, thinking, do I have cancer? Do I not have cancer? And then finding out you don't. That might be really hard on you. But if you want to maximize your opportunity to catch cancer when it's early, and remember, you catch a stage 1 cancer, it's almost always curable. There are some cases that aren't, but it's almost always curable. You catch a stage 3 or 4 cancer, your chances, your odds of surviving go way, way down. So I hope this was helpful for you in understanding the difference in these two tests, how they have very similar weaknesses, and how you should think about making this decision with your doctor. Thank you. Take care.